Well, hi everybody. How we doing tonight? Okay? It's getting better. It's getting better. It's getting better. I had my gosh, I didn't realize what a difference that made in the light on my face by putting a piece of paper underneath the light here. Well, let me see what's going on. Let me see if I can find my cards. That it's really strange. It's not strange. I'm just going to say nothing strange, but by God, I think they got him. I think they're getting ready to drop the noose around his neck. So I'm feeling better. Sometimes I go into depression. I went in it for about 5 days just wondering if our attorney general was going to do anything or not. And I decided to quit worrying about it. He's got to. It's either that or democracy. And even it would take somebody with totally no scruples at all to stay away from this. He's got to be investigating this and ready to clamp down. That's the only thing I've got to say about this. It's got to be going forward. And I'm going to quit worrying about it because I can't change it anyway. And I want to tell y'all out there to stop worrying about it. If you've been worrying about it, just try to let it go. Go do something else. I'm going to go to Florida for a week. I haven't been to Florida but one time in my whole life, and that was to catch a boat out of there. So I didn't get to see any of it. So this is going to be a totally new experience for me. So that's going to be fun. I'm leaving Friday. I'm going to take my iPad with me, and I'm going to do a video from there. I'm going to send my two daughters off visiting with each other and going somewhere, and I'm going to stay home and do a video. See if the energy's not different there. It'd be interesting tuning into that energy there. That's what I was thinking. That would be really interesting. Turn into that, and tune into that energy. And I hope you can hear me on my sound here. I should have maybe moved that just a little bit. I'm not sure I'm talking into it because I'm kind of looking a different direction today. But I'm sure you'll be able to hear me. Usually it's too loud anymore with this new microphone. Uh, yeah, I had. First of all, my name's Lynn. If you've never watched before, and to the people that are so faithful about watching, I'm so sorry it took me so long to get back. My granddaughter called me from Florida. And she says, "What's going on, Grandma? You haven't did a video in 2 weeks." And I says, "Oh yeah, I did one 6 days ago." And she says, "Are you sure it's not coming up?" So I looked at it, and sure enough, it's not coming up. So I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if they took it back down or if it never got put up or what. But anyway, I'm gonna make sure this one gets put up. I I thought I remembered reading comments on it, so but maybe it. I don't know. Who knows? But anyway, I'm doing this one, and I had the weirdest dream about 3 or 4 days ago. I got up and wrote it down. Had one of my what I call my real dreams. Well, you hear this, talk about funny. I dreamed I won the presidency. I woke up and I'd won the presidency. So when I'm having that kind of a dream, I know it. And so right away, that was my guide saying, pay attention, because this isn't real, but there's messages here. So that's what I did. I went ahead and finished dreaming it, and I got up and wrote it down. And then what you do is you mark lines underneath things that just doesn't seem words you don't use, or I don't know. I didn't do a really good job of writing it down. In fact, I actually cheated. I got up and recorded it, which is not the same as when you're writing it. But I was just going through that recording right before I started doing this video. And by the way, let's get this out there first. My name is Lynn, and I do tarot readings. I do political tarot readings. And if you'd like a personal reading, get a hold of me at lynntarotreadings@gmail.com. lintarotreadings@gmail.com, and I'll get right back with you, and we'll get this done. And even if I don't set it up for the next day or something, I still am caught up, so I can still make appointments even while I'm on vacation. So don't be afraid to call me if you decided you'd like a reading. And when you email me at lintarotreadings@gmail.com, put your phone number in there, and I'll get back to you. So anyway, I'm going to go back to this dream. So it was a weird dream because it was like they came in and said you won the presidency, and I says, and I knew right then. Well, first it shocked me even in my dream. That's when I knew pay attention. But I said, are they? And they, I was thinking, is anybody going to accept that? And they said, yeah, it's going to be a big fight because they're going to start saying something was wrong. And anyway, it was just. They said it was legal, but everyone was letting me know that they were going to fight it or try to take it away. But what that let me know is I think there is going to be a woman president before we know it, before we even think there's going to be. And it's going to be somebody that we're not even suspecting. I don't think it's going to be somebody maybe totally unknown. But or this could have been about Stacey Abrams' race, because in my heart of hearts, I know she's going to win that race this time. And I know the minute she does, they're going to try to take it away from her. So when I wrote that down and redid it, that's what Spirit kept telling me, that this is something about Stacey Abrams. But I'll be dead and gone probably before it happens. But that also could be an omen, like Spirit telling me, don't worry, we got this, that she's going to be president someday. So I was thinking that might have been on there. But anyway, that was a weird dream. And I don't know if you heard Mitch McConnell. I don't know if it was yesterday or today, but I seen it on the news. He just dropped the noose right around Trump's neck, didn't he? He was the first rat to jump the ship, the biggest rat to jump the ship, and one of the first ones, outside of bless his heart, Mitt Romney. I'm not crazy about Mitt Romney's politics, just like some of the other ones, but I do respect him more than most of the people, almost any of the Republicans in Congress, except maybe Liz Cheney. I respect her, even though I don't like her politics. But it was, he dropped the noose. And then Pence, of course, Pence was, said he didn't have the power to steal the election. He didn't say he didn't want to steal it. I wouldn't trust that little MFer anywhere. Anyway, I think he's the least, whatever. He didn't do anything that came out of his mouth in the last week when he admitted that he didn't have the right to change the outcome of the election. He just did that out of survival because he was hanging on, hoping he might be Trump's running mate, and I think it just finally dawned on him, finally hit him. There's no way ever that he'd be his running mate, and besides that, Trump's not going to run anyway. The most uplifting thing I heard... Oh, people. The most uplifting thing I've heard in months had to come out of Mitch McConnell's mouth today. And if you haven't watched that, be sure and watch it. Because, like I said, I thought, there's the news. He just dropped it over his head. Now who's going to start, how many people are going to start jerking on it as they go over the edge of the ship? So that's going to be funny watching it. We all need to smile. And we all need to laugh. And we've been waiting for this to come, and it's still not going to happen overnight, but it's happening, people. It's happening. Because if it doesn't happen, you know, if there's people committing crimes in the open continually, and they're getting away with it, and they're bragging about getting away with it, and justice never comes after them, then we don't have a democracy or a justice system anyway. So if we don't go and do something about this, it's not that we're going to lose our democracy, it's that we've already lost it. So, so hopefully, let's all cross our fingers and hope that Merrick Garland comes through for us on this. Um, like I said, I've never been too proud of him from the get go. Even when not, I know you've heard me say this before. Even when Obama nominated him, but I want him to make a liar out of me. I never wanted to be made a liar out of so bad in my life. I'm not saying I'd say it for sure. I just had this feeling that I never have really quite trusted him. But anyway, let's he's going to come through on this. He's got to come through on it. So something else I was going to talk about. In fact, that's the first thing I'm going to read on tonight is the separation of church and state. What? You know, when I never was that good in school, especially in the lower grades. By the time I got to junior high, I was really good because I was obsessed with learning anything I could. I was like a sponge, but I didn't hear or see well when I was young, and I was always put in the back of the room because I came from the poor side of town. So, so up through sixth grade, school was really hard for me. But at least that time they taught enough that the first thing ever put into my head 80 years ago, or whatever, 75 years ago, that I can remember, is that America was started for the separation of church and state. That's why people were so enthused and so happy and so excited about America, because it was the separation of church and state. And then everybody could come over here. They didn't have to have the same religion as the king or queen or the country they lived in. You could have any religion you wanted. And then they got this new law in Florida. You're not even supposed to say gay. Don't say gay. Of course, you don't say anything else either. You don't talk about history. You don't talk anything about black people. You don't talk anything about birth control. But this is like, I know this is gonna twist you when I first say it, but this is like enforcing Sharia law on people. And I'm not saying that as a comparison in any way. I'm saying that is that that's a type of religion. I don't agree with it. Nobody agrees with it in the United States, and it's horrible. But at the same time, anybody that enforced it would be horrible and terrible for doing it in what was supposed to be a democracy. And anybody that enforces watching the teachers, not letting them teach history, not letting them say certain things, burning books, between being a straight fascist and Nazi, that's the same as enforcing Sharia law. I mean, Sharia law would be religious law, and if you look at most of the stuff that they're trying to, that they're trying to keep the teachers from saying, it's all right in with the religious right. So it's the same thing as enforcing Christian law or whatever you want to call it on the people. And that's not what we're here for. We were here for a democracy, not here to have church laws enforced on us or enforced on our children or on our teachers or on whatever's going on. So anyway, that's the first thing I'm going to read on. I'm going to ask if they're going to get away with these laws. Are these laws going to go through? I mean, they're even trying to push laws that, Lynn, I can't even think of it now, but one of them just blew me away. Another one that was in that group that was, and anytime you get people that start telling on other people and pointing one finger against their neighbors, you've got them. That's what's been going on in the United States all this time. That's why we're all so divided. They got all the people fighting among each other, and the corporations are getting richer and richer every day because that gives them total charge and total control over everything, especially since of the crap they pushed for the last 20 years. So this is corporate law is what we're in, but not this every special little law. It just helps them keep the control because they can get the people fighting. They can do whatever they want to. And pretty soon we've got a serf master type of society till it goes totally under. Anyway, are they going to be able to enforce these school laws they're putting up in Florida? Are they going to be able to keep this? Let's just see we know it's a horrible thing, but I'm trying to figure out how to ask this. Is this going to go through? Is this going to be these are just not going through in Florida. They're trying to put them through all over. Is it going to go through? What's going on here with these new laws to watch the teachers? We all know they get so rich buying school supplies for their kids. It's all about money. It's all about the money. They don't want to pay them, and they'd rather have just the private schools that they get and have the government pay for half of those to the people who can afford to send their kids to private school. Excuse me. I knew that was coming. So anyway, it's all about the money. That's why they're wanting to push these laws through. And they're trying to also, the agenda behind the money was all planned out. It wasn't something that just sparked up. It was in this playbook, probably straight from these people that are in the family and the people that sponsor that prayer breakfast that no Democrat should even be going to by now, but they were still there, weren't they? Even the president talking. Wow. This is all about money. They're getting paid a lot of money to force this through, money that they didn't even expect. This is like manna from heaven, and that's the foundation. It's not only, it's going to be money in our pockets in the long run because it's going to keep those people fighting among each other, and it's going to keep them dumbed down so stupid that they don't even know how to keep from getting pregnant. And there's a lot of people that are really sad about this. But is it going to go through? Well, in the fifth house, in the sky above this reading, we've got the bird of paradise and more money. So I don't know if it's because I want it to or what, but it looks like this could backfire on them. Looks like this could backfire big time on them. And so that looks like that could happen. And I'm going to try turning this light down on a different deal. It just seems so bright. I always do this, and then it gets so bright. That's too dark. That's too blue. I don't know. Maybe that'll work. I don't know if it's bright enough or not. But it's just, I just have such a heck of a time with this thing. So anyway, getting back to this, we got the bird of paradise up over the top of this. So it's the schools. It's by measuring out education to just the elitist few and the people who's got the money to send their kids to private schools. There's a lot of money behind this, corporate money behind this, billions and billions and trillions of dollars to be made all over the U.S. if they can figure out how to close all the rest of our schools down. And that's what would happen eventually if they start having rules like this in public schools. Pretty soon there won't be any public schools. And here's the wealthy merchant, so that's what they're looking forward to. They're looking forward to having control over all this money and getting fat and sassy on it. This started started a long time ago, but this is Betsy DeVos pushed this and pushed it and pushed it. And the energy behind this, there's a lot of people behind this. Like, I'm really surprised at these cards. This is what's surprising me by reading on this, is all the energy and money behind this. It's not just a couple of weirdos that just came up with this idea. That's what it kind of looked like to start with to me. I thought, well, just whatever these kooks come up with and the Republicans thinks it's a good idea, they jump on this wagon and push it and push it and push it. Because there was some other political deal that they did a few months back, and I thought, who thought that up? But they were, oh, the critical race theory. So that even shows maybe somebody came up with that to get people's attention. Of course, anybody that's educated and paying any attention to politics and what's going on understands they haven't been teaching that anyway, except to law schools. It's the third year of college if somebody wants to take it. So when they brought that in and started pushing it, I thought, how stupid are they? And then I thought, no, they're not stupid. They're doing this on purpose. So this shows all the energy and all the people behind this. This is a plan to make people rich, and it's been going on a long time. And that's why they're jumping on this, and now the birth control, you name it, they're not supposed to teach nothing. I guess, like I heard one person say, or something I was watching today. Well, one of my students comes in and asks me why Johnny's got two mothers. I'm not allowed to say because they're gay. Anyway, and of course it was the Trump organization and all the energy and sickness and lies behind it that got this pushed through. That was the hopes that they could use him to be the biggest dummy, which they did the whole time he was in office. But here, the outcome of this is the Biden card. I'm going to draw a clarifier over this to see why Biden's in here. Because I really don't think, even though he not only kept, I guess he doubled the oil leases off the Gulf, I guess, than from what Trump had it. Every time I think, oh, he's just old or not paying attention, or I start making excuses even in my own head for some of the crap that Biden's done. And I'm not saying he hadn't done some good things, but he's done some. And then I hear something like that, and I think, no, it's the money. It's big corporation. It's what's running our government. Anyway, but he's there. And I think that being the outcome, that shows that this could turn out pretty good. So I'm going to draw one more for a clarifier. Well, they kind of fight it. So we're going to have to draw another one. It gets held up. And then there's some kind of deal made. And what's the deal? That they have to take all the total idiots out of the class when they talk about anything that's real? Or I don't know. Let me pull one more and see what comes up from this. Deals made to take higher ground. If they really went to higher ground, then they'd get rid of all this shit. So at least it's getting... I think it goes away when all this other stuff goes away that's being done out in the open. I think maybe they just let it go, because here comes in the Chariot in a hurry and feminine strength. So it looks like it might get booted out. As much as it looks scary sometimes, people, it looks like the Democrats are going to get back in there. And then there's going to be some hard decisions made. Going the wrong way here. And then there's going to be some deals made to get, and I feel like this is deals to get rid of the bullshit. And higher ground is going to be gained because of that. And it's going to happen really fast and reverse back to women's strength. And if it reduces back to women's strength and energy, I'm not talking about so much the energy and strength of per se women all over. I'm hitting the microphone. I hope I didn't break it. I'm saying I think it's when you see this card, the strength card, it's using the upper chakras. It's using the chakra of the heart, peaceful, thoughtful things to be said, and the mind, things thought out, and thought out rationally instead of irrationally from the bottom parts of the lower chakras that bring out the fright, flight, and all that kind of crap. So I really does look like it may be a rough go, but then when it changes, it's going to change back quick to the higher ground because of a deal being made. But it gets postponed and held up first. But it does look like the Democrats come in and just literally have, excuse me, almost needs to get pass legislation where they can't get away with this, that a public school is a public school and they teach real history and real things. So that's what I think is going to come through on this, on the, don't say gay deal. And I'm going to start marking this stuff off so I don't do it 2 or 3 times. And then let's read it on old Mitch McConnell and see what's going on with him. I mean, he's the one, he just dropped a noose around the ex-president's neck. I think he did more than drop it around there. I think he dropped it around it and gave a little jerk because he kept talking afterwards, didn't he? At least he didn't put it around that biatch who took Liz Cheney's place in the Senate that just brought all these people up to bring some kind of censure or something against Liz Cheney and the other guy that's helping her on that January 6th committee. But yeah, he put it around there. Mitch dropped the news, gave it a little jerk to get started, and I don't know if Pence knew he was going to do that or they talked it over even ahead of time maybe, but I don't know who's jerking who there, but I think they're jerking together, and so they both jumped the ship. So they're the first 2 rats jumped the ship, and they left the rope, and if McConnell's at the top or he's at the top, and the worm is turned. So they're going. So let's see. Let's look at that. Let's draw some cards on that and see how long it's gonna. See what's gonna be coming up for. That would have to be for Trump. I was gonna wait to read on him till the end of this reading, but let's go ahead and read on him. Or we could read on. Let's read on McConnell first. Why did McConnell do this? Why did McConnell come out and say, yeah, that was an insurrection, and anybody that was there knows it was an insurrection. I never thought anything he could say would make my whole day, but it made my whole day today. So let's do McConnell first. Let me mark that out. Mitch McConnell. It's already getting dark outside, and I haven't walked yet today, but I didn't walk last night till 9 o'clock. I walked from 9 to 10:30. I was proud of myself. I did 90 minutes. Well, the doctor's office has called me about my heart monitor. They said it was going off night before last in my sleep. Wanted to know if I felt anything. I didn't, but whatever. So I thought, that was 3 days in a row where I'd walked an hour and a half, but I should be doing it every day, no matter what. Not just because I'm going to Florida and may have to walk a long ways in the airport. I should be doing it every day. And I do, whatever. I do it about 5 days a week. But it got so darn cold here for about a month or so, I cut way down on my walking. But now it's warm enough where if I bundle up, I can even go out at night, and that's when I have my most energy. So Mitch McConnell, you little booger bear. I always have almost not been able to stand to look at you, but if I'd have been standing next to you, I probably would have hugged you today. Can't believe I said that. I wouldn't have hugged him. There's no way I would have hugged him. I bought uh, two new pair of glasses. Maybe when I give my next reading, I'll be able to see. These are just reading glasses, and I haven't been able to see anything for the last couple of years, and I got two different sets of whatever they're like. I can't call them trifocals because that's not what they're called anymore. You can't see any lines or anything, but progressive, whatever they call them. I had them before 25 or 30 years ago because I was almost blind before I had my first RK done. But that's since then I've had cataract. I've had so many things done to my eyes. It's amazing I can see anything. So, Mitch McConnell, what's going on with you? Okay. You were worried about losing our democracy. Look at this. And he might be in a little bit of trouble, or his wife might be in a little bit of trouble, because sometimes this is the law coming down on you. So maybe he thought he might be in enough of his own trouble to get involved in Trump's trouble. Something's going on there. Something's broken his heart. Well, I don't think he has enough morals or anything else for it to actually be the thought of losing our democracy. Maybe he just realized people's lost all faith in him, and that's broken his heart. And still, I think he's got something legal coming down on him. I don't think he could possibly go to jail, but sometimes this is the jail card. This is the foundation. Obviously, he's thinking that he's done enough things, or maybe his wife's done enough things that they could end up in there if they ever really started kicking ass and taking names like the Justice Department should. But let's draw some more to see where this is going. The law, the main law. The guy in charge. Something going on. This could be that he just knows they've got Trump nailed so bad. He just knows Trump's nailed. That's what that could be. Could definitely be that. He could just know that Trump is nailed. That could be what it is. I did say when I looked at the tribal leader here, the guy at the top of the law, and I said he could just know that Trump's nailed, and then I pulled this card in the sky over the reading, and that's like saying, yeah, that's like saying, yeah, you're right. So I think that goes back to maybe the whole Republican Party coming down on its head. Because there's a lot of secrets going to be revealed. I know, I feel like because I watch things and listen to people talk all over and everything else, which reminds me, one of the favorite things I want to read on, I don't want to forget, is that Jerry Falwell's son and being blackmailed. I think I did a reading about it about 5 years ago, right when the church backed Trump, what was going on there. And I guess it's getting ready to be exposed now, from what I understand. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming out. A lot of stuff coming out. Let's just hope that it gets prosecuted. because it's really coming out. So that's what's behind Mitch McConnell. You know, and another thing is Mitch McConnell knows more about what's going on in Washington than the regular person does. You better believe that anything going on there, he's hearing about it first from somebody, especially any body getting arrested or getting subpoenaed or anything like that, that he knows about it 2 or 3 days before we know about it. So I think it's something to do with something that's coming out. And he felt like he had to run to get ahead of this. So that's why he came out saying what he was saying. He was running to get ahead of this because he wanted to get ahead of it. And the energy around this is just trying to be calm, him trying to be calm and cool and take a deep breath so it doesn't look like that he was trying to get ahead of this. Something to do with a bunch of stuff that got stolen. Woo-ha, that really surprises all of us, doesn't it? VFD, like that would surprise anybody. But it's about stuff that's stolen. It could be, God, I hate to even go back and think about that. I hope it's nothing to do with boats, but for some reason, that's what jumped into my mouth there. Could be votes and stuff that, more stuff that Trump tried to do to get this election going, because there's the devil. It could be about him being chained to the devil, and he was trying to get unchained before all this all came out. So that's what it was. It was to get rid of his connections to Trump. And you can't just get rid of him by coming out and saying that the man was behind an insurrection and trying to take over our government. So I can't never stop on 10 cards. I always have to draw one more. And look at her. As many times as I shuffled and as deep as I buried it, here comes. I love to see her at the end as a clarification. So strength is not going to be coming through. Not the strength of the mind and heart. Not on anything bad. So this is. He was trying to cut himself off from Trump about everything they did that was illegal before this happened. Felt like he had to do it right away to get ahead of it because of all these secrets that are coming out. And they're big secrets. And it is the law. So this has got to be Garland. Let's hope and pray. But that's the big law coming after him. And here's all the money, all the plans. He knew that he heard about this ahead of time. And he is really, really worried. But Trump is going down. So anyway, that was for Mitch McConnell. I knew he didn't do those out of the goodness of his heart, although when that did happen at the time, it shook him up because he came out on the right side to start with and then buckled his mouth for another 12 months after that. Wouldn't make anything but stupid remarks. And voted against impeachment, where if he would have voted for it, he could have swung another 10 votes so easy and got rid of all this problem, and they could have been working on some new ideas for the Republican and been skimming out all these old tea baggers and guys that got in there under the Tea Party that have caused all this crap. They could have did a lot of things for the Republican Party, but they didn't. Just went along to get along. So that's what's happening to Mitch. And the next one I had to read on, and of course, I mean, he's jumping for the same reason. You could imagine what he knows, that Garland and all of them might know what's going on in government. I don't think they're wanting to tell him what's going on because they don't want Trump to know, but still, he's close enough that I'm sure his ear is full of what's really going on behind the scenes. And one thing about Pence, remember, he said that he couldn't steal the election, but he didn't say he didn't want to steal it, did he? God, these people are irrehensible. This is why Pence did it. So let's see what's coming out here, people. I want to thank everybody that's followed my channel. Please hit, subscribe, like, share. Anything you can do to help will really be appreciated. And of course, if you'd like a reading, it's LynnTarotReadings@gmail.com. But let's, and be sure and put your phone number on there, and I'll get right back with you. So let's do, we did Mitch McConnell, let's do Pence and see what motivated him to come out with his little story. I'm sure it's the same thing. Like I said, it's just the more connected rats are, and the biggest rats are jumping the ship first. That's interesting. Kind of the fat and lazy ones sometimes are the last ones to do anything, but now that the two biggest ones have gone, let's see. Let's kind of ask the cards that. So Pence, we know what motivated him, but why is he? Maybe it'll come out in these cards why he's choosing to do this now, at this time, right now. And then to have Mitch follow through a couple of days after that, there's something going on here. So, okay, Michael, what's going on? Michael, that was my son-in-law's name. I don't want to even say that. Mr. Mother's boy. Let's see what's going on with you. She might have talked him into it, telling him that he didn't want to go down in history as being directly involved in this. So, we got the Queen of Swords here. So that's the law coming after him. If it's not some woman lawyer or judge, or if he's not in some other court case or something, that could be mother. Definitely could be told them, you better do this because I don't want our kids to be in the history books if they ever start making real history books again. With you in on this. So. And she's been trying to get him to do it for a year. So I do really think this is his family. He's been delaying it and just hangman upside down, just not wanting to go there. And he just wanted to take his time. He couldn't make up his mind. He didn't really know what to do. He was hoping that Trump might forgive him and take him back in there. Yeah, sure. And then I do think it was probably his wife, because here's the higher chakras coming through. Or maybe maybe Pence found his higher chakras. Maybe he decided to take a look back at his religion and what Christ really taught. Who knows? Anyway, he's making plans. It had to do with some plans, and it's probably his run for the White House. Is the plans he was probably making. Every time I think I'm going to fix this light, I don't. It's just worse and worse and worse. Oh, Lord. Why do you do that, Lynn? We'll try it there for a while and see. We can see anything when we do the video. Sometimes I get it so dark you can't see me. But here we got these cards here. You can see that pretty good. I can see it in the mirror over there. And it's got plans he was making. That's why Pence came out with this. He wants to make plans for his run for president, and he knew he couldn't, that he's not going to be able to jump onto Trump's coattails to start with, because he's not going to be there to jump onto his coattails. And then I love this card because it started coming up in my cards to show me that what the card before that was right. It was because he was making plans to run for the presidency himself. He wants to be the head guy. This is his hopes and dreams and himself and what's going on inside of his head. So yeah, he still thinks he's got a chance to be president. So that's why he came out and told the truth. Some of the big money people told him they'd get behind him if he wanted to make this run. So he's got some. Of course, it could change with the primary, or who God only knows what's going to happen in the next couple of years. But he's also got some backers. That's what's behind that. And he got a good picture of what he needed to do, and drew it in close, and went ahead and came out and said what he felt like he had to say, and cut himself off from Trump. So that's what was behind this mainly. His wife wanted him to do it. He'd put it off too long. After he thought it over, he thought that's the only way I can go. But he also had some feminine energy behind him. I still think it was his wife and family. But he wants to run for president, and she told him that's the only way he's got out. And this is saying yes. Not that he's going to win the presidency, but that was one way out. And that's his dreams, is to be the headest, biggest, machoest dictator there is, even though he'll do it under his own style of Sharia law. There's big money behind him already. There's some other people. That's another place that says the worm has turned. The noose has been dropped. Because he's got backers. And he's got a plan. And that plan, the only way he could go through with it was to cut himself off from Trump. So that's what's going on with Pence. See what else I got here to read on. I'm enjoying this. I don't know why I put it off so long. Probably because it's so hard for me to figure out how to adjust the lighting. I was going to do it before the sun went down, and then I would have had lighting in here. But I didn't get that done. It's only been down a little while. If it was in the middle of summer, it'd still be up. I think it's only about 6 o'clock. Maybe 6:30, maybe 7 by now. Time goes so fast when you're having fun. And I do have fun when I do this. It's a lot of fun. So, let's see. And I hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm just going to draw 4 cards on this. I was wondering, since they started at the top, and he always thinks he's at the top. I don't really think that Lindsey Graham's going to be next to jump the ship, because I think he's being blackmailed big time. But they might be coming across some Trump blackmail papers. There's something coming out that's just going to knock everybody out of left field, and I think it's going to be all this blackmail, and I think it's to do with the Farwells and the university they ran, and why they backed Trump to start with, because they felt threatened, and because of all the bad stuff that he had on a lot of them from that university. And I think it's all going to be coming out. Maybe not all of it, but there's going to be enough of it coming out. We're going to know why the supposedly Christian right backed this total devil to start with, when they knew that he had never did anything in his life but stuff that went against the church. So let's see. I'm going to do what's going on. Let's see, because I'm only going to do 4 cards on Lindsey here. So we're going to do Lindsey Graham and see if he's, unless the first one comes out, yes, to see if he's the next one jumping this ship that's always going on and trying to steal the limelight. There'll be a lot of smaller ones going. But Lindsey Graham, are you right? Are you the next? I drew the Fool. So that could be either way. He could be so stupid that he's going to hang with Trump. Or he could be so, be the next one in line. So let's see. He's thought about it. That's in the past. he knows whatever that he's going to have to shit or get off the pot, because this is just it's going to have to be done fast. That's in the present. He knows if he's going to jump, he's got to jump quick, or he's going to drown with the rest of them. The challenge is he's worried about going to jail. So what have you done, Lindsay? You know that if they end up jerking that noose, that Trump's not going to admit that he has a bunch of blackmail material, but they might already have their hands on it. So he's worried about going to jail. That's the challenge. So there must be a lot of stuff. He's trying to figure out how to take the high ground. So I drew 4 cards, and that's what he's doing. He's taking the high ground, is the future. So if you're going to take the high ground, I would say that would be getting away from Trump. I'm going to draw one more to clarify. He's fighting with somebody about it. Maybe it's himself. This decision. Oh, he's fighting with Trump about it. Trump's already told him he didn't want him. He's really threatening him. He really feels... I usually don't feel sorry for Lindsey Graham. He knows he's been a fool. He knows he needs to do something in a hurry. He knows that either way, whether this stuff comes out or whether he just shifts, that he could still end up in jail. He's trying to figure out how to take the high ground. Meanwhile, he's fighting like hell with Trump. So I'm going to pull one more card. I lifted 2 up by accident. Well, this is being exposed, or the whatever's out there, the government already knows about it, and he's just wondering if the whole world's going to know about it. So that's kind of the rock in the hard spot. It's like he could go to jail either way. So that still doesn't say whether he will or won't be the next one. He probably is trying to figure out, is at this current time, if Trump's got nothing else to lose, then he might just go ahead and say, "Oh, this," or he won't come out and admit he was blackmailing him, but he'll let the information come out. He'll expose him some way where it'll look like it doesn't go back to him. That's what he's worried about. So that was Lindsay. And the next one I'm going to do is on this Jerry Falwell. Fucker, anyway. Excuse me, that little... Never could stand that little frapper anyway. But this is... I don't know, is his name Jerry too? The junior? Is it Jerry Falwell Jr.? This is the child. Seems like that's his name. Maybe it's just Junior. Maybe he's just a junior. But I'm thinking that... And I even heard something about 60 Minutes or maybe 2020 or something, that he was going to be a guest on one of those shows coming up in his next Sunday or the Sunday after that. And I'm wondering if it's going to come out that Trump was blackmailing the church or the university. So let's pull some cards on that and see what it has to say about Jerry Falwell Jr. What was going on with him? What was behind... And I think it was Trinity, wasn't it? University, getting behind, originally getting back the church back in Trump. And I said then, I told my daughters and my relatives and stuff, in fact, if I kept track of my videos, I'm sure it's on one of my videos too, that I mentioned it even after that. But when the church first backed him and got behind him and supported him, that was about 7 or 8 months before I started doing videos. I think even then I told my family that I don't think I know I did. I said, you know what? I said, he's being blackmailed. They're being blackmailed. So let's see. Is this going to come out? Is this going to be exposed? Is there blackmail? Is there theft? What the heck's going on here? Well, I hope they're all not upside down. I got this card upside down. Yeah, there's been a lot of sleep lost over this. This is why Jerry Falwell Jr. His name Jerry? Anyway, it doesn't matter what his first name, Falwell Jr. This is what he hasn't had a good night's sleep and had most of his life living this lie. And he said he'd been living a lie all his life, that he really wasn't religious or didn't believe what the church had to offer. And this isn't just them. This is other people. This is people all over the world, religious people all over the world. He had a lot of stuff on the high people with the religions of, and he made them an offer to back him, or it was going to come out. Probably some of that stuff that used to come out every week in that rag that came out every week. I can't think of Inquirer or something. That some of the stuff he had in the safe. Nobody's heard much about that lately, have they? And there might have been a little bit of kickbacks to the churches. I don't know some of these that backed him, but if it wasn't very much. Maybe him not telling on him was the kickback. It's going to make not only Trump look ridiculous, but it's going to make the churches look stupid. We got the fool in the sky over this reading. And we got temperance in the near future. So are they just going to insinuate that's what's happened and not really have it all come out? Why is this in the immediate future? Temperance. Maybe it's just a lesson learned by the church, for the church. Who knows? There's going to be exposure about money, a lot of money, and it's going to come right out of the preacher's son's mouth. Since this is on Jerry Jr. himself, and look at this is his card. There's going to be a lot of, they probably did not only back him, they might have paid Trump money, but there's going to be money involved, big bunches of money, about hiding these secrets. Look at this. This is the influence over for the secrets being kept. Somebody would be really lucky if they don't end up in jail over this, and that's what they're worried about. And that could be another reason maybe he wants to get this out first. Because somebody's going to jail over this. I don't know if it was the guys that took the original paperwork or whatever, but somebody's going to jail after this, and this is for Jerry Falwell. I don't think he's going to jail, but hadn't had any sleep in almost a lifetime. And this isn't just him. This is other people that had stuff to do with the church. Trump gave him an offer and said, you're taking it or you will. Maybe they had something on the church not being straight up with the money. Maybe he stole the money from the church. Who knows what the expose was. I always think of sex, but that's just where my head's went all my life. It might have been just money and greed. He feels like a fool to have kept this quiet this long. It's still not coming out all the way, but the hint of it's coming out. And then the story's going to break because of the news and the secrets being revealed. And they'll be really lucky if somebody don't end up in jail over this, but I'm not sure if it's somebody from the church or somebody from the organization that was blackmailing the church. But somebody's going to jail over it. Those two cards together, somebody's on their way to jail. And then after all this time, and I'm not going to do a video for a long time, and I'm going to do some editing on this. After all this time, we can't stop now without doing one on Ivanka. I'm going to do her next. And then we're going to do one on Trump. So what's going on with Ivanka is the next one. Besides taking her dogs on beaches where dogs aren't supposed to be in and saying she doesn't see the sign when she's sitting on it almost. I heard that today. I'm one of the people I watch on the internet. They're not too happy about them in that neighborhood they moved into, I guess. So let's see. Ivanka. Every time I read on her, all it does is shows she's going to be the one to jerk a little more on that rope around her dad's neck to see if she can get her ass out of trouble. Let's see what's coming out in the cards. Let's see what's happening in the cards. And if any of you guys want me to read on anything special that you want me to read on, if you put it in the comment section when you comment on this reading, put it in the comment reading, and just I read them all, so you don't have to label them. I was trying to think of a word you could put in front, so I'd know that you were asking a question for me to ask. Maybe peace or love, something started out with that, and then I'll know you're asking a question. So you know what? That would be better, because a lot of times I go through and read, but I don't feel like writing them all down then. And then when I go back through them, it's really hard because I've already marked everything with hearts to see which ones had a question for me. So if there's a question, start it with love or peace, or that's the first word out, and then go ahead and go into the sentence, and then that way I'll know, well, there's a question there, and I don't have to spend an extra 3 hours going through those comments looking for what the questions are. They'll just stick out. So this is on Ivanka. She's wishing the hell she could get out of Dodge. Look at that. Or maybe waiting for the best deal to come in for whatever she's got to say. She's dragging her heels a little bit before she gives them everything. She's waiting for something to happen here, something good. And she's still trying to figure out how to... She can't dazzle him with brilliance, baffle him with bullshit. She's trying to figure out how she's going to do that. How she's going to talk and still come out with any dignity. Or how much she's going to tell, too. Or how much... She's just now finding out how much they already know. And it's amazing what they know. She's flabbergasted by it. But she already made a deal. So she's just now finding out everything they know. And it's just blowing her away. Literally blowing her away. Because the deal's been made already. The plan's been made. She's probably already talked most of it. She's got more to offer. She's just finding out how much they know, so she's going to have to offer up more than she thought she was. And this is going to make the Dems really happy. It's going to really be helpful to this commission. So I was wondering what this is probably a little bit about everything, but a lot of this is even for the insurrection. Whole world's going to know about it. That's going to go around the world 100 times in 2 seconds, all different ways when this comes out. And she knows that. She's thought about that. It's not only my family I'm going to disappoint. It's like there won't be anywhere in the world to go hide. When she brings, and the energy is around this, is bringing the tower down on her family and the Republican Party. She's worried about more prosecutions. Maybe some of those in... maybe that Azerbaijan, that other Trump building. I guess there was a lot of money put through there or something. God only knows where that money was going. But there's a lot of There's some female judges or lawyers or something coming out after her about something that might surprise her. Doesn't surprise her a whole lot because she's afraid that they know about this. This is a deal that she wasn't sure that they knew about or she could get in trouble for, and that's been on her mind a lot. And I think she feels like they know about it because she feels like this is a female lawyer or judge coming after her. But look at this. She manages to get out of this. So I'm sure the only thing that's going to get her out of this is just to get complete immunity from telling all she knows on her dad. So yeah, she's going to be the one to talk. She's definitely going to be doing most of the talking. So that's where that's coming from. She's thinking about maybe moving overseas when this is all over. Can't believe the stuff they keep digging up. The deal's already been made. Half of the stuff's already been told. There was a plan for that for a while already. They're going to make her an offer because they have more on the January 6th stuff. The whole world's going to know about it. She's going to bring the whole Trump, whatever, the whole, it's going to say empire, but it's always been a pissy ant little corporation stealing from everybody just to have a flow through of money anyway. And she's going to lose her queen status. And the whole world's going to know. So I'm probably feel like I'm wasting my time because this thing, I can't see the clock because it's turned around the other way, but it feels like it's been hours since I'm going to have to cut a lot of this out, I think, probably. But let's see what the Donald's up to now. How does he feel after the last couple of days after his vice president coming out and telling him he's full of shit, and Mitch Mcconnell coming out and saying they're all full of shit? Notice Pence didn't go that far because he don't want to. I can't believe he thinks he's got a chance in heck of getting the nomination to run for the Republican Party. I don't know who will, but I can't see him doing it. But he does have big money backers behind him right now because they don't want DeSantis in there. For some reason, the big money bankers don't want DeSantis in there. I've seen that from reading the cards on him. I just seen the Ten of Swords and I buried it deep to make sure it just didn't come out because it was in the cut there. So let's see what's going on with you, Mr. Phil 45. What's going on with you, Phil 45? Oh, what is going on with you, Phil 45? What's going on with you, Phil 45? The Emperor. He is worried about the law. He's worried about the big government law. He's afraid. I think he's afraid he's lost his control. So that's the signifier. It's showing that he thinks that he's still running the show. But then we got this card upside down. He knows it's going to get exposed that he was running just moving money around. That's what keeps coming to me every time I read on him. I notice that camera's really crooked. I hope this whole thing is usable. Anyway, yeah, he's just been moving money around all his life and trying to play the wealthy merchant when he wasn't even wealthy. That's why this card's upside down. And that's another thing. His love is going away. A lot of people that thought he was really something, he's going to be shocked when he finds out that a lot of the people that thought that he was really something special, my eyes are hurting, that a lot of the people that thought he was really something special is Disappointed because he wasn't rich. It's going to disappoint him. They're that stupid that they were more impressed by thinking he had money than even ever thinking about how stupid he was or how much he was hurting the country. It was just people are so crazy now because they're not educated or brought up right. All they think about is fame and money. I mean, it's crazy. But that's going to hurt him more than anything when they find out that he was broke. And the foundation is seeing him worried about how he's going to keep all the bullshit up, because it's going to be hard to keep this farce up if it gets proven that there was never any money there. And I know I keep saying this, and when I'm saying never any money, I'm not saying there probably wasn't a few $1,000,000 there. He started out with 300 million that his dad gave him, and then I guess he broke himself and then got that much more from his dad. So there was money there, but it wasn't like people thought. The ones that idolized him, it was all about the money. And the past influences, they thought he was a star because of that. And this is also my clarifier that says yes, that there isn't. I'm right, that there wasn't hardly ever any money there. It was just moving money around. And right here's the money movers, the people that move money around and people that go in and raid villages. In the olden days, the mercenary. He doesn't realize how much information they have on him. He's worried about how much information they have on him. These cards are on him. That's what he's worried about the most. He doesn't know exactly what they know. He knows they know a lot, but there's some things that he knows would bury him in a minute, that they would have to do something if they found out about it. Tell him what he's been up to or had done in his for him and about him. He's wondering if he's pretty sure that nobody's going to put him in jail, but he's wondering if he'll have anything left. This is in the 7th house. This is him. He's wondering if he'll have to hoard money the rest of his life just to feel secure. And the energy around this is he's put this off and thrown more shit up against the wall every chance he got, and kept changing the subject, that he's wondering how long he can still keep this hung out to dry. That's the energy. He's thinking he's the hanged man, but he's upside down, so he's got the noose around his neck instead of around his foot. He's having trouble sleeping at night. And he's worried about going to jail. It's even, I don't know what he's done, but it's even, I know a lot of things he's done. Anyway, I don't know what he's done for sure, but he's even worried about him being in jail. And it's because of money. It's because of laundering money. I'm sure that's what he's worried about when this all comes. And it might go back to this church business and blackmail. I think it might be associated with blackmail. We got the theft card. It's associated with theft. We knew that. Moving money around from one country to another. And it was hard work, baffling the whole world with his bullshit, a lot of the world. But the end is coming swiftly. And they're going to ride right over the top of him as this news comes out. And they lower the hammer on him. So I think he knows his time's up. I think that's what's been on his mind. If not last week, at least this week, with Pence and McConnell both coming out. I think he knows that he's getting ready to get hit right between the eyes. So that's what's going on with Trump. So I'm sorry I took so long. I'm not really sorry I took so long. You can always turn the video off anytime, huh? And I want to thank all you guys for that's listening to this, and thank you for watching all my other videos. And love your comments, and don't forget to write. If you want me to read on something, put it in there. Put it in there, no matter. Even if it seems silly to you, I'll read on anything. I'm to the point. I'm so tired of trying to figure out what to read on. Just that's why I haven't did it more, because you can tell I love doing it, and it's just getting to it because it's like it whatever. The news changes so quick. I'll get something in mind, and then I'll think, well, let me get that in there, and then let me get that in there, and then I turn around and days have gone by. So I need to put a big sign up beside my bed that says, wake up and pay attention. Not that I'm ever in bed during the day, at least. So I want to tell y'all that I love you, and thank you so much for everything. I don't know why I'm putting these cards back in the middle of the deck like I'm going to read on something else before I go. Thank you for everything, and I really appreciate it. I really appreciate your donations. I appreciate the readings, and love doing the readings. They're so much fun, and just thank you all so much. Namaste.